8 things I only encountered after moving to America. Yeah, I'm excited to check this out and see what kind of things he only encountered after moving to America. So yeah, let's jump straight into this and check this out.
Fell asleep in the car again. Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to our roads. Specifically, some of the things we encounter while traversing those roads. Because while we can all have a laugh at each country's propensity for driving on the wrong side of the road, we've been too busy not noticing what's around us. And so in just a moment, I and my wife, who fell asleep in the house like a regular person, are going to go for a little drive to look at 8 things that I only encountered after hitting the American road. And so while we're waiting, if you're the sort of person who likes learning about British versus American cultural differences and you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, do that now.
Oh, we do. Make sure you do that to both.
In the meantime, here she is. Let's get going.
And if you're that nice to me. Wait, what?
Here she is. Let's get going.
The shoe must go... Was that like a saying? Never heard of it.
Shoes?
What shoes?
This was the weirdest thing. When I first moved to America, probably in the first year, I kept seeing shoes dangling from telephone wires. And it was weird because...
Oh, I see this on movies all the time. It was even on like Breaking Bad and stuff. Why is this?
First I thought, oh, that was just somebody drunk who threw them up there. And then I saw them about 4 or 5 times and thought, maybe it's the same family who like to climb these things and just spontaneously combust.
I've seen it before, but I don't know why people do that.
It's weird. I didn't see this in Britain, and I see it all the time here. But maybe there's another reason behind it. I'm going to look into that in just a moment.
Yeah, make sure you let me know in the comments. Why is that? And have you ever done it yourself?
Okay, I lied. I actually became aware of this phenomenon before moving to America. I saw it in the film Big Fish with Ewan McGregor. However, since the 2003 film leans heavily into fairy tale, I just assumed that shoe dangling was part of that. But apparently it's fairly common throughout most of America, even if Americans can't agree on the reasons for it.
For what reason,
in some regions,
though?
shoe tossing apparently commemorates the end of school or the start of a marriage. Others connect the practice to the military, while in major cities like Los Angeles or here in Chicago, popular legend likes to link it to the activity of gangs.
The gang activity, that kind of makes sense. Like, scare them off with your shoes, you know, your gangster shoes. But like events like that is it's a bit interesting. It's a bit interesting just throwing your shoes up there.
Anyway, that's why I don't wear shoes with laces. That and I'm irredeemably lazy.
Drip
Speaking of
drop.
films, that brings us on perfectly to our next entry, which is water towers. And at this point, I can visualise Uncle Toby frantically typing away on his keyboard, saying something like, "Ooh, Lawrence, what do water towers have to do with films?" And also, we have water towers in the UK. What's your point? Well, let me address both points one by one. The film is What's Eating Gilbert Grape, right? We've all seen that scene where Leonardo da Vinci, DiCaprio, climbs up a water tower and the whole town tries to get him down. And watching that film growing up in England, I couldn't...
Right, don't be mad. I've never seen it. I don't even know what the movie's about.
Help but notice 2 things. 1, that the water tower appeared to be quite top heavy. And 2, that it was entirely made of metal. You see, typically water towers in Britain are these concrete brutalist looking buildings.
I've never seen a water tower in my life. What is that? Joe, imagine you live there and you have to look at that every day.
It looked like something from a scary film, which is why my brother and I had nightmares. But in America, it turns out that the water tower in What's Eating Gilbert Grape is a fairly old style one. The ones I see around towns here in the Midwest look just as metallic and even more top heavy. And the fun thing about American water towers is that they actually help you pinpoint where you are. Because in the event that your GPS goes down, you can simply look out of your window and realise you've ended up in Salem. Thankfully, this is just stock footage from my provider and I'm not a witch or living in the past. Plus, that was Salem, Ohio, not Salem, Massachusetts. Oh, America.
Pump it up.
Oh, there's something
gas stations
we don't have a lot of in Britain. It is what looks like a
Oh, wait, never mind. What is that? Like a stadium dome?
huge bouncing castle, but is in fact a sort of, well, kind of a blow-up building, an inflatable building.
Yo, bouncy castle would have been sick. Like a massive bouncy castle. This inflatable building?
And I think when I first saw one of these, I just assumed that's where America stores all of the aliens.
No, that's Area 51.
A lot more innocent than that. What usually happens inside these big blow-up buildings?
Tennis?
Tennis. It's
Makes
a sports
sense.
and recreation centre, and these things are sort of all over the Midwest. And even on our honeymoon, when we went to the Eagle's Nest, which is a restaurant high up in Indianapolis, we overlooked the RCA Dome when it was still around, and that was similar looking. It was just larger.
It's kind of cool.
I just realised I do occasionally see English footballers honing their skills in domes like this. So since I left the UK, perhaps they took off. You know, not literally. That would be chaos for air traffic control.
Oh my God, imagine.
They do look like they could.
We didn't get the memo.
In the past, my subscribers have heard me talk about how American roads are often lined with billboards. But in the interest of not wanting to cover old ground again, I'd like to talk about a different type of board entirely. Notice boards. Specifically, notice boards that you tend to see outside of churches or schools. And again, calm down, Toby. I know we have those in Britain. What we don't have, or at least didn't when I lived there, are electronic notice boards.
No way, bro.
These things are everywhere. At school, it might say something like, ooh, this week the kids are having a fun run. Or if it's outside of a church, Jesus is returning this Tuesday. Bring water. Whereas in Britain, if we have notice boards like this, they're probably handwritten in chalk or written on a piece of paper with an...
I ain't gonna lie, we ain't got no electronic notice boards like that. I don't know. Yeah, America's just different, man. America's just different. They want that. It would be handy for certain situations. It's like, you know, and it's easy to change, you know what I mean? It's like, let's say the school's got some special event. Boom, put it on the notice board. You can change it easy with the electronics and everyone will be able to see it. Whereas in the UK, you just gonna have to know by word of mouth. That's simply it.
An arrow through it.
Ready, steady, go.
There's a Thai place over here next to Trader Joe's. It's really good.
Hey,
Go and eat there.
take a break from the video and do that.
Yeah.
Before I do that, though, I just want to talk about traffic lights. In America, you have traffic lights that are literally hanging, seemingly by a thread a lot of the time. I mean, it's by multiple cables, but I think visually that's probably one of those things that stands out the most when you first visit America. And you
Wait, you guys don't have traffic lights that's on like poles? It's just hanging from wires? Huh?
You are on the road. That and the size of the cars.
Yeah, cars are massive.
And then you have traffic lights that are on a pole.
Oh, okay. So some of your traffic lights are just like on wires. But then, yeah, I was going to say I'm tripping there because I swear I've seen traffic lights on poles in America.
It's a horizontal pole and it just looks like the whole thing will come down if there's a bad storm. Whereas in Britain, our traffic lights usually sit on a vertical pole at the side of the road. Personally, I don't care about this either way. I just want to know what you call them. Because in America, I've heard traffic light, stop and go light, and just stop light. Let me know in the comments below.
Yeah, I can't imagine many people saying stop and go light. That's too long. Stop light maybe, traffic light, yeah.
When I first moved to the United States, there was this one occasion when my wife asked me to meet her at a strip mall. And being new to the country, I misinterpreted what that meant and ended up at my first ever pole dancing class.
Yo, low-key, someone said to me, yo, meet me at a strip mall. I'll be like, huh? I'll be like, what, you want us to go see a bunch of strippers? What is going on here?
But eventually I learned what strip malls are and we all had a very, very good laugh at me. For those of you that don't know, a strip mall is basically a mini mall with a parking lot / car park and an array of shops and or eating establishments next to that car park.
So pretty much like a retail park. Well, we call it a retail park. It's kind of looks like that. It's got a bunch of shops in a row. And like a car park and stuff and some food places. Yeah, your strip mall is our retail park.
And they all follow a similar pattern. There'll be one or two multinational chains like a Subway or a Starbucks, surrounded by lesser known local places and a vaping store. Now in Britain, I've come to learn that strip malls do in fact exist, but not quite in the same way and don't usually go by strip malls.
Retail.
The major thing to note about our equivalent of it is they're just not as ubiquitous. And Uncle Toby, ubiquitous just means omnipresent.
Right.
And omnipresent means that something is all over the place. A bit like your comment.
Wait, no, retail... Okay, so from the looks of the strip mall, it seems very similar to retail parks. Near identical, right? And they are everywhere. There is a retail park in the UK everywhere.
In more ways than one.
Dome,
just
sweet
remembered something.
dome.
For years after moving here, I was confused by the sight of something that I would see by the side of highways. And I'm not just talking about that creepy doll I saw off I-65. I'm talking about weird domes. They crop up every now and again, and they look like the sort of building into which nobody ever goes in and nobody ever comes out.
Yo, some alien situation business happening here. I ain't gonna lie.
And I swear, before making this video, I went my entire American life without knowing what they are.
Oh, wow.
It turns out that they're a storage facility for salt, which I suppose Chicago needs a lot of in the winter. Is it that kind of salt? I don't know. What I do know is that when you have to track one...
It's America's... It's America's cocaine business. Hey, they gotta bring the money in somehow. You guys are just the leading country for money and stuff like that. Hey, this is what
of in the winter. Is it that kind of salt? I don't know. What I do know is that when you have to track one down for the purposes of content, they're so mysterious that you can't find one. Or are they? We actually found one.
Aliens.
We were looking around, but the maps weren't very useful. There is a salt storage facility. I don't see any salt.
Wait, yeah. What? For one, why does it look like that? And two, surely there's a better way to store salt than there, like that. I don't know. Interesting. Look at me trying to like come up with a conspiracy. Oh, it's aliens, man. They're hiding them.
Or pepper.
House? Wait, oh,
Anyone
I thought I said house. Who's seeing this?
Who's ever seen an American film that involves a police car chase has probably seen one of these get destroyed. Yes, it's an American fire hydrant, and I dare say that many Americans, including myself, have
I ran over many of them in GTA the game.
lived here so long that we've become completely desensitized to their existence.
They're so
the
cool.
truth is, you can barely drive a block in my area of the world without seeing them hanging out on a street corner. My favorite is when they're painted in such a way that they end up looking like a human member of the fire brigade. But growing up in Britain, I never really saw our fire hydrants because they're hidden underground. The fire brigade accesses it with, I don't know, some sort of magic key and fights the fire that way. And you might be thinking, how do they know where it is? Simple. If you've ever been to Britain, you might have noticed these little pillars containing the letter H. This is just a marker letting everybody know where the hydrant is. I just wanted to explain.
Oh, I've seen that. I never knew what it was. Oh.
That for those of you who wondered why British action films don't have the trope of the damaged hydrant. Anyway, most American hydrants look like this. I would get up close, but I don't own it. Plus it's covered in dog piss. Arthur, can you smell Penelope on that? Such a romantic story.
Aww.
And that's it for this episode. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on...
That was a good video. I enjoyed that. You guys gotta let me know what you guys think in the comment section as well. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'm also live on twitch.tv/alpha if you guys want to check me out over there. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.